Hey guys, Nim Jr. I've had a few people ask me to make a time-lapse video of my QI system, which is totally understandable considering the fact that the full system is about an hour long, so I don't blame you guys for wanting an abbreviated version of that. I'm willing to do that, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to make this one super quick, and it's going to cover the first 5 or 6 days of the season, but there will be a lot of missing information from this video, so if you guys do find yourselves in a pinch, I would encourage you to use the full guide that I've already posted online. That one is indexed by each collection, so you can go to the collection that you're on. So this is difficulty level 2. This is the evening collection. So you can find that collection indexed in the complete guide. The system, the Anti-alchemist, is very surgical. It's a very fast system, so you can gain a lot of ground really quickly. But if you make inaccuracies on the first couple days, it will slow you down more than it's worth. So that's the disclaimer here. With that in mind, let's set up a time lapse. We're already on day 2, obviously, and I did not do a time lapse of the first 2 setups. I'm going to give you guys the cliff notes on that, and we can jump into it. I'll just time lapse the rest of the season. It took me about 3 or 4 seasons to get it really dialed in, so there is some trial and error. I've already done a lot of the trial and error on your guys' behalf, so if you watch the complete guide, you'll possibly save yourself some headache. But if you just want to jump right into it, let's get into the cliff notes of it. So key requirements to this: 5 to 6 expansions at the beginning of the settlement. I would say is required. You can do whatever balance of goods or shards that you want. The system is primarily designed for free players, so I usually stop at the 350 shard expansion. I do not spend more on expansions than that. That's up to you guys, however you want to navigate that, but I would say at least 5 to 6 expansions to start the settlement. So some of those can come from shards, some of those can come from goods from ascended buildings, but at least 5 to 6 would be the threshold there. 40,000 coin per expansion that you intend to add needs to come from your main city on the ascended buildings that you plant before the season starts. This is actually a requirement. It is possible to start a QI settlement with basically 0 additional coin from ascended shit. It is possible to do that, but you'll delay the progress of the settlement by about 2 days in doing so, and at that point it doesn't even make sense to use the system if you're not going to follow the original stipulation. The original stipulation is to have a bunch of space and a bunch of coin to start the season, and later in the season we know that space creates actions, but if you have a bunch of space at the beginning of the settlement that you can't fill up because you don't have enough coin, it's not going to work out very well for you. If you have any questions about that, please refer to the complete guide that I've already posted, because I've covered that information, but do pay attention to the coin part. I mean, if you're 20,000 coin under the threshold where you should be at, so this season here in Khmer, I added 7 expansions. I should have added 280,000 in coin to start the season. I only had 240. So I was off by about 40k. It buffed out. But if you're substantially below that threshold, it will not work out for you. Just trust me on that. The math is already there. I've already done the math on it. So this is the cliff notes for you guys. Plus 50,000 supplies total, regardless of the expansions that you have to work with. Just a total supply boost from ascended stuff would be my recommendation. This is a recommendation. The coin is a requirement. The supplies is a recommendation. It'll make it a little bit easier for you, but it's not a necessary thing. You can actually start with 0 supplies ascended boost and be okay, but it's a little bit more comfortable if you have some supply boost from ascended stuff. Collect and delete is a big part of the pattern, so get used to it. If you don't understand it, watch the complete guide, because it is a big part of the process and the strategy itself. So if you do not understand that, pause the cliff notes, watch the complete guide at this point, and then come back to the cliff notes. Alright, that's it for the introduction. I'm going to time-lapse the rest of the video, and I'm going to give you guys, I'll clear off the screen here, and I'll give you guys the cliff notes on the first 2 collections that I did, just to get you up to speed, and then the rest of the season is just going to be a time-lapse. So the priority is to have most of your housing as estate houses, but on the original construction you won't have enough coin to do that, so start with a minimum of 8 estate houses, and then everything else is multi-story. The purpose of the 8 estate houses is primarily on the first collection just to compensate for the coin shortage that you'll get by collecting everything at extreme unhappiness. But later in the season, once we're filling up the entire city with estate houses, the primary purpose is actually to reduce population and therefore reduce the demand for happiness that you have to meet as you go through and collect and delete buildings. After the first collection, you'll have enough coin to build the entire settlement with estate houses, but I do recommend keeping a handful of multi-stories just as a thing to actually get multiplied by the coin boost benefit of the estate house. So on your first collection, so 1.2, so Thursday night, on your first collection, collect and delete, get up to happiness, collect all your coins, and then just save all of your alloy, don't make any improvements, save all of your alloy, and rebuild the entire settlement with 90% estate houses and a handful of multi-stories. And then on your second collection, so 2.1, Friday morning, same pattern, collect and delete, get up to happiness, but the benefit of having mostly estate houses means that you'll be getting more alloy on the second collection. If you have at least 500 alloy on the first collection, you are guaranteed to get another 500 alloy on the second collection. So at that point, you'll plant your baker number 1 on the 2.1 collection, so Friday morning. And if you have leftover resources after that, plant a few gallows until you're out of alloy, essentially. That's it for 2.1. That's the springboard that starts the whole season. Just save all of your alloy from the first collection, combine it with the alloy from the second collection to get your first baker. And from here, when we do collect and delete, we'll get up to happiness, to the 150% happiness metric, but also add brewers into the collection process before you collect baker. So that way the brewers don't stay permanently planted in the settlement. We only plant them temporarily to the collection for the purpose of multiplying the baker and making it behave like several bakers, even though we've only got one of them. That's the gist of it. 2.2 is coming up, so I'll post that one next. 2.2, time-lapse. Goal is just to add a couple upgraded cultural buildings. Doctor is my recommendation, but cartographer and pillory are also acceptable. That's the goal from this round. Here's the time-lapse. Alright, that's a wrap for 2.2. Final construction, there's nothing to rush. It's just a couple doctors to speed up the happiness for alloy production on an upcoming cycle. Planted brewers in the process of collecting and deleting housing to collect baker. Simple, super simple. Alright, goal 3.1 is to get another baker, but this is a good opportunity to add extra expansions. So if you do have shards left over from the original construction, plant a goods building and then rush the production of your baker as you collect, and add expansions as you go, and fill those expansions with breweries in order to continue multiplying the collection of the baker. Basically, until you run out of supplies, leave enough to plant a baker at the end. So here's a time lapse of that.